What's up, guys? This is the Gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. And guys, I was home today. A very, very rare day off. And I was looking at a little bit of TV earlier today. Watched the last day of the convention. The Republican convention. But during the day, I was surprised. Watching the news. I have to ask, and I have to be specific here. I have to ask, my fellow black men, why are we on TV crying? I have seen this off and on for the last couple of days, and I just have to ask, what the fuck? I mean, what is up with that? I see sports figures, on TV crying about things, and the whole Jacob Blake situation has got a lot of people distraught and disturbed. And, it's only natural that it would be that way because, the media has really gone out of its way, to make the situation seem hopeless for everybody. We're in the middle of a pandemic. You have all of this civil unrest going on. There's a lot happening out here. So I just wonder at what point do we realize that we're actually being manipulated here? You know what I mean? It's like, if you're feeling hopeless, if you're feeling like, you don't know which way to go and all that stuff, I would have to say that that's by design. And we really have to challenge ourselves to see the hope in life, because when these people get through making us feel like it's hopeless, then we start begging other people, to solve our problems and do what we should have been doing all along. It's not time to be crying, brothers. It's not time to be on TV showing our sons and our daughters how we look in a broken state. It's like we should be far from broken at this point. This should be a motivation. This should be a motivation to do better, to turn back into our homes and raise our children to be more purposeful, and stronger and just to be a part of all of this, man. It's like, I don't get political on here, but I just got through listening to President Trump's speech. It's the final night, like I said before, of the Republican convention. And towards the end of the speech, he went on to talk about, I guess, the history of America, the founding fathers and the settlers and, how they did this and how they did that. And, he started by saying that, we don't tear down our past, we honor our past and things like that. And it was very rousing and everything. And like I said, I'm not even like a hater or anything. I believe in being fair, to both sides. And honestly, both sides are underwhelming for me. I'm just sorry that we don't have a better choice in this country anymore. It seems like every election, it comes down, it comes down to choosing the lesser of two evils. And I'm just not fucking moved by that. You know what I mean? I just wish by now we'd have something better going on. But anyway, it occurred to me while President Trump was running down the history of America and the pioneering spirit of the founding fathers who, fought wars and all that stuff, and all that is true. I applaud the history of the country that I was born in, for sure. But I didn't appreciate the fact that he glossed over, slavery, and I don't even mean like the evil of slavery. I'm talking about the actual fact that people really did give their lives over there too. You know what I mean? Those people who were enslaved. I understand that this is a shameful chapter in America's history, and everything, but those people need to be honored. They literally gave their lives to build the country that we have today. I don't believe in tearing down the past. I believe in honoring the past. I believe in acknowledging the past, and I believe in dignifying the past. I will not be ashamed of the fact that my ancestors were probably enslaved in this country. I will not be ashamed of that at all, ever. These were people, and they did sacrifice. They sacrificed the greatest sacrifice because they had to sacrifice not only their lives, but the lives of any family that they might have had, any culture that they might have had. It's immeasurable, the sacrifice, and the hard work and the price that was paid, for this country to be the way that it is today by those people. I can acknowledge the great accomplishments of all people, but I don't like the fact that we act like it's something somehow to be swept under the rug. The things that we've been through and the things that we continue to go through. And we somehow forget that we have a claim to this country as well, just as compelling as anyone else's, just as proud as anyone else's. So when I see brothers on TV crying and everything, I'm like, what the fuck, man? It's like, this is actually the time to stand up. This is the time to say that if you want to make a change, then it has to start at home. It has to start in your communities. There's no crying on TV about that. There is only there's only purpose, man. There's only getting back to your purpose, reaching back to your children and letting them know that they have a stake in all of this, and they don't have to contribute to the illness of this country. And they can expect that the country will reward them for their hard work. It had better reward them for their hard work. And this is what I'm saying, because it's their country. There can be no outrage, no real outrage, until you are doing your damnedest, until you're doing your best. And you have to raise your kids to understand that. This is not the time to be defeated. This is the time to go to school. This is the time to produce. This is the time to show the world what we're made of. And what we're made of is not men on TV, grown men crying. I have a nephew who I love very much. I love all my nephews. I love all my family. I love my nieces, but I have a nephew who he really looks up to LeBron James, and I tried to clown LeBron James in front of him one time, and he did not find it funny. So I learned very quickly that this kid is really serious, about how he looks up to LeBron James and everything. And when I see athletes acting like they're going to refuse to play, it's like, I want you to have a different, perspective here, okay? Hopelessness and despair that's not what children run on, okay? They run on hope. They run on good feelings. They run on the promise of tomorrow. You know what I mean? So if you're a performer, if you're an entertainer, if you're an athlete and you perform for the masses and things like that, you have to understand the nature of your job. It's like my job, I don't talk about what I do and everything like that, but I am considered essential. I'm considered an essential service. So I have never stopped, throughout all of this pandemic stuff and all that. I get up every morning, I go to work, I do what I'm supposed to do, and I'm happy to do it because I realize that a lot of people look to others. They want to see that normalcy, so when they see people that they can depend on and they get a good morning, a good afternoon, they get a smile, they get a little one-liner, a joke or something like that, it goes further than you could ever imagine. It's like I could be walking around, all day talking about it's another black life lost. When is it gonna stop? When is it gonna stop? But I can't. I learned a long time ago that having hope, and being able to maintain, a positive spirit goes a very, very long way, not just for other people, but for yourself as well. You have to understand you can't be defeated, because if you are, then you might as well just lay down and die. You might as well just give up, and I'm just not in that business. I will not project defeat. I won't. There are some times when I'm going to be discouraged in this life. That is true. But I usually save that for, for my most quiet moments, in life, like in the dead of night or something like that, when I'm thinking, or if I'm like vulnerable, with somebody that I trust completely, and I can just drop that, that guard or whatever, but I hope to be around people in my life who encourage me to keep moving and to keep going and to, only stop, and shed tears. I'm not going to say I don't shed tears. I cry a lot, you know what I mean? But I just don't do that on TV. You know what I mean? I don't do that in front of just everybody, you know? So all I'm saying is that we owe it to our people to project hope. Men, black men, we owe it to our women, we owe it to our children to be strong and to guide them and to lead the way and to be led, if that need be, because men and women are partners, so sometimes a good woman can remind a man how to be strong. She can give him that motivation, give him something to fight for. And I think that's when we're at our best. So like I said, I don't want to be insensitive to the brothers who have been on TV crying. Like, I understand the frustration and everything like that, but it's not time for that. It's not. It's time to be strong. It's time to have that sense of purpose that I was talking about. It's time to lead our children. It's time to show our boys what an example of men are supposed to be, and we are supposed to tap into that spirit that our ancestors had, the ones who came before us, who lived through much rougher times than what we're living through now. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to lead. So, the crying shit, cut it out. There's no time for that. Get to work, get busy. And I ain't talking about going on TV grandstanding, carrying signs, yelling at cops and shit like that. I'm talking about going into your homes and guiding your children and providing some sort of stability. That's what we can do every single day. Don't look for somebody standing on top of a mountain someplace. Do it your fucking self in your own home. That's where it starts. If each of us did that, then you might be surprised at the difference it could make. You school them on how to conduct yourself in the world when they go into the street. If they do have a run-in with the law or the cops or something like that, then you fucking train them on how to deal with that. How to be obedient when they need to be. How to be sensible. Tired of seeing this. I'm tired of seeing the losses all the time and the lack of common sense. You turn people into hashtags and act like somehow that helps them to rest in the grave. This is the age that we're living in now. Someone gets killed, you make a hashtag, you make a sign, and you actually think that you're doing something. The time to do something is when our people are children. When you have a chance to raise them, to be productive, pleasant, positive human beings who are not going to be a burden on the rest of the world. And go figure, it'll make them feel better as well to be positive and productive. All of this shit could be prevented. All of it. And I'm not blaming the victims. That's not what I'm doing here. All I'm saying is that white supremacy ends where black accountability begins. I haven't said that in a long time. I used to say that all the time. Your so-called white supremacy, which I don't even fucking believe in, white supremacy ends where black accountability begins. Yeah, I know I'm crazy. I understand that. I've been called that before for saying shit like that. I believe in humanity. Black people won't even be free in their own minds until they see themselves as human beings first, before black. I'll keep saying it. I don't care who thinks I'm crazy. I don't care what the fuck you call me. Time will prove me to be right. Embrace your humanity before you embrace a color. I speak from experience. You see, I'm a real one. I had to learn how to do that. I just don't say black is beautiful. I don't just say I'm proud to be who I am. I was born to that. I had to learn that. I had to believe that. And that's the reason why I can say it. I can say that who I am, I'm proud of. I can say that who a white brother is, I'm proud of. There's beauty in all of humanity. All of humanity. You wouldn't know that unless you truly loved yourself. You have to love yourself first. And then it might stop you from getting in other people's faces and yelling at them and charging them with being privileged and shit like that. Why don't you let yourself be privileged for a change? Give yourself the privilege of self-love. And no one can take that away from you. I don't care where you live, where you were born, what obstacles you have in your way. If you truly love yourself and you keep moving and you die trying, you'll be a much happier person in this life. No one will be able to stop you from loving who you are. All right, guys, I don't know if any of this made any sense. It's just something I had to say before I went to bed because, like I said, seeing brothers on TV crying all day is just, we owe our kids better than that. We owe them better than that. We need to give them spirit because after all, that's what these games are, right? That's what basketball is and football and all that stuff. It's showing people the fighting spirit. That's the reason why you're champions. That's the reason why you're paid so much. You show them how you can overcome adversity. You don't stop. I always tell my son that all the time. The world doesn't stop because you're going through a tough time. The world doesn't stop because you're crying. When you're done crying, then you need to start living again. You need to start fighting again. You need to be strong again. All right, guys, that's it for now. I've gone on long enough. All right, you can get in the comment section and let me have it, okay? Whatever. I just had to get that out. All right, guys, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe. As usual, you can catch me on Twitter. That link will be in the description box below. Hope some of that made sense, at least some of it anyway. I'll catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on. Stop crying.